Get your free copy of the complete tutorial at www.teachucomp.com/free.
After initially opening Excel, a list of both pinned and recently opened workbooks appears in the startup screen. A pinned file is simply one which you have chosen to pin to the pinned section for easy access, regardless of how long it has been since it was opened. To pin a recently opened file, hover over its name in the recent list, and then click the pin icon that appears to the right. Alternatively, right-click the file and then select the Pin to List command from the pop-up menu that appears. To unpin a pinned file, hover over its name in the Pinned section and then click the pin icon at its right end again. You could also right-click the pinned file and then select the Unpin from List command from the pop-up menu that appears. To open a pinned or recent workbook, click its name in the panel to reopen it. Note that if the workbook you want to open doesn't appear within either the pinned or recent list, then you must know where the workbook is saved. You can click the More Workbooks or Open Other Workbooks command in this panel to reveal the open category in the Backstage view. Alternatively, if you are already working in Excel and you want to open another workbook, you can also display the open category in the Backstage view by clicking the File tab within the ribbon and then clicking the Open command at the left side of the Backstage view. At that point, the locations within which to look for the file appear to the right of the command panel in the Backstage view. It shows the recent workbooks by default. Note that in the Recent category, you can click either the Workbooks or Folders link in the right panel to change whether it shows recent workbooks or recent folders, and you can pin or unpin either using the same instructions just mentioned. Clicking any workbook shown in the rightmost pane opens it. Clicking a folder in the rightmost pane displays the folder location or launches the open dialog box instead. Below the Recent category, you can click the Shared with Me location to show workbooks people have shared with you to the right. You can then click one of these shared workbooks to open it. Otherwise, you can click one of the OneDrive, Sharepoint, or This PC Save locations in this list to show its folders and workbooks in the list to the right. Note that if you select a Sharepoint location, you may need to select a site from the list to the right to see its folders first. If you need to add a Sharepoint or OneDrive location, also note that you can click the Add a Place link in this list. Then click either the Office 365 Sharepoint or OneDrive buttons to the right. Then enter your login credentials to add the selected type of place for the associated login credentials to your list of saved online locations. You can click the folders in the list of files and folders at the far right side of this screen to then display their contents in the same area if needed. To return up one level from within the folder, you can then click the Select to Navigate Up One Level button, which looks like an upward pointing arrow, to the left of the current folder's name at the top of the rightmost panel. You can click any Excel file in the list of files and folders to open it. If you want to use an open dialog box to find the file to open instead, then either click the Browse button in the list of locations, or click the currently selected folder at the top of the rightmost list of files and folders to launch an open dialog box. In the open dialog box that appears, navigate to the folder location to view if needed by using the folder navigation tools at the top or the left sides of the dialog box. You should see an icon for the file and the file's name appear in the Files and Folders in the open dialog box. To open a file from the selected folder, click the Files icon, and then click the Open button in the lower right corner of the open dialog box. Alternatively, double-click the Files icon shown in the open dialog box to open it. You can also use this dialog box to simultaneously open multiple workbooks in the same folder. To do this, if the files are non-adjacent or not next to each other in the selected folder, simply hold down the Control key on your keyboard. Then click each file to open to select them. If the files are adjacent or next to each other, then instead click the first file to open, hold down the Shift key instead of the Control key on your keyboard, and then click the last file to select. Everything including and between the two files is then selected. After selecting your files, then release any keyboard keys you are holding down, and then click the Open button in the lower right corner of the Open dialog box. This will open all of the highlighted or selected workbooks.
Like what you see? Pick up your free copy of the complete tutorial at www.teachucomp.com/free.